Welcome to the channel, where we examine some of the latest bookings in your local jurisdiction. Today we're looking at Snohomish County. All charges are taken directly from public jail records and are considered public information. Mustafa Muhammad Abshir was booked into the Snohomish County Jail late at night on May 13, 2025, just before midnight. He was brought in by the Tulalip Tribal Police Department and held on two serious felony charges. His bond totaled $70,000, split across two charges: $20,000 for escape in the second degree, $50,000 for harassment with prior conviction or threats to kill, domestic violence related. Let's break those down. Escape in the second degree is a Class C felony in Washington state. It usually applies when someone escapes from a detention facility or fails to return while on temporary leave from custody. It can also mean violating electronic home monitoring or walking away from a work release program. Either way, it shows the courts considered him a risk of fleeing or not cooperating with custody orders. The second charge is even more serious: harassment with a prior conviction or threats to kill, marked as domestic violence related. This isn't just about making threats. In Washington, when someone threatens to kill or has a history of harassment, and the new incident involves the same behavior, especially against a family or household member, the charge can be elevated to a felony. The prior conviction makes it a Class C felony, but courts treat these cases with extra scrutiny due to the high risk involved for the victim. He was released 2 days later on the morning of May 15th, but as of the last update, both bonds remain listed as active, which likely means the legal process is still underway. Abshir's charges were transferred to King County via live scan, suggesting his fingerprints matched existing records or warrants already on file in King County. Raina Marie Adair was booked on June 11, 2025, facing one felony charge. The charge was burglary of a residence without force. This means she was accused of unlawfully entering a home but did not use physical force or break anything to get inside. Her bond was set at $2,500, which was paid, and she was released on July 16, 2025. Sophia Christine Akel was booked on April 17, 2025. She was facing two charges, one felony and one gross misdemeanor. The felony charge was assault in the second degree, classified as a non-family strong-arm assault, meaning it involved significant physical force against someone outside of her family. The second charge was a hit-and-run, involving property damage to an unattended vehicle. That's a gross misdemeanor. She posted a $2,500 bond and was released the next day on April 18th. Fernando Adame Perez was booked on July 2, 2025. He faces three charges related to domestic violence. The charges include Assault 1 with a gun, Assault 2 with a gun, and Assault 4, all classified as domestic violence offenses. Assault 1 is the most serious, involving the use of a firearm and causing serious injury or the intent to cause serious injury. Assault 2 is a lesser felony but still involves a gun and family violence. Assault 4 is a gross misdemeanor and generally refers to causing injury without a weapon. His bond is set at $1 million and is currently active. Gabriel Aboit Moreno was booked into Snohomish County Jail on November 15, 2024 at 5:13 p.m. His case came in from King County via live scan, meaning his fingerprints likely matched an existing warrant or criminal record, and he was transferred for booking. He's facing two serious felony charges. The first is for manufacturing or delivering a controlled substance, specifically a synthetic narcotic with intent to sell. That's a Class B felony. Class B felonies in Washington can carry up to 10 years in prison and fines up to $20,000, depending on prior criminal history and the amount involved. The second charge is conspiracy to distribute a controlled substance, which is classified as a Class C felony. That means law enforcement believes he was working with one or more people to manufacture or sell drugs, possibly as part of a larger operation. Together, these charges landed him with a bond amount of $750,000. That suggests that law enforcement and the courts view him as a significant flight risk or as someone involved in serious criminal activity. He had court dates scheduled 3 days in a row following the arrest on November 16th, 17th, and 18th. That's not typical for lower-level cases. It could mean that the investigators are trying to fast-track the case, or that multiple agencies are involved and want to keep a tight handle on the proceedings. As of now, he hasn't posted bond and remains in custody at the Snohomish County Corrections Bureau. Lisa C. Abbott Moruza was booked into Snohomish County Jail on July 1, 2025. She's facing 5 charges: obstructing a law enforcement officer, a SOTA violation, assault in the fourth degree, possession of a controlled substance without a prescription, and loitering for the purpose of engaging in drug-related activity. Assault 4 is a misdemeanor, usually involving minor physical contact like hitting or pushing. The SOTA violation refers to a stay out of drug areas order. It means she was found somewhere where she was legally ordered to avoid due to prior drug activity. Her bail was set at $100. This isn't her first time in custody. Jail records show multiple bookings going back to February. Forrest Luke Abbott was booked into the Snohomish County Jail on May 25, 2025 at 6:06 a.m. and released 4 days later on May 29th at 6:21 p.m. He was facing a total of 8 charges coming from multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Tulalip Tribal Police, the Snohomish County Sheriff's Office, and the Everett Police Department. Here's a breakdown of what he was charged with: criminal trespass in the second degree, resisting arrest, making a false or misleading statement to a public servant. Those 3 are considered low-level offenses, and they stem from an incident that occurred early in the morning around 6:47 a.m. Then, just a few minutes later, at 6:52 a.m., 2 more charges were added: assault in the fourth degree, another count of making a false or misleading statement. Later that evening, a new set of charges appeared from a separate incident report at 6:07 p.m. Theft in the second degree. This is a Class C felony, meaning it involved property valued between $750 and $5,000. Vehicle prowling in the second degree. This charge usually means someone unlawfully entered or attempted to enter a car, truck, or other vehicle, typically to steal something inside. Malicious mischief in the third degree. That's a property damage charge. In this case, it's listed as damage to a business. It could be anything from smashing a window to tagging a building with graffiti, as long as the damage value is under $750. It's worth noting that several of these charges, including the felony theft, were not filed, meaning prosecutors likely declined to move forward with them. There were also 2 charges dismissed due to warrants, which may indicate older or unrelated offenses, possibly from other jurisdictions like Seattle. Abbott's total bail was set at $10,000, but he was ultimately released without having to pay it. That's it for today's booking report from Snohomish County. Follow the channel to catch more updates. We'll be looking at other jurisdictions soon.